Alright, hello, I'm James, and today I'll be teaching you the butterfly kick. The butterfly kick is a move that comes out of Chinese martial arts, particularly wushu. You'll see it there a lot in competition, and also adopted by tricking. So, I guess first I'll show you. And from the other side. So the first step to the butterfly kick is the dip. So the dip is where you're generating momentum. You want to start with your legs wide apart. Double shoulder width is good. It's almost hard to start too wide apart. Most people start with their legs too close together, so start far apart. You're going to dip, bringing your weight from one end to the other. I'm teaching this move going to my left. If you're usually right-handed people learn it going to your left and going to your right for left-handed people. Although it also depends on if you cartwheel on one side or the other. Basically just try both, figure out what's comfortable, pick that side. So I'm teaching it going to my left, meaning the move is moving to my left. Okay? So, for this, I'm moving my weight from my right side to my left side. To get an idea of where your body needs to face during each part of the dip, a good guide is to have your arms start facing the direction you're coming from and end facing the direction you're moving towards. Because you don't want to just dip like this, like this, where you're facing to the side the whole time. That's really not accomplishing anything. Your whole upper body has to be turning as you go through the dip. Okay? So that's basically what I did there. Notice my weight shifting from one side to the other. Okay? And I end facing behind me. This is crucial, because if you end facing just straight this way, you're going to start to flat spin, meaning you're spinning on a horizontal plane when you do the butterfly kick. And that might be okay for the butterfly kick, but once you start trying butterfly twist and everything after that, it's going to be really hard to land if you're spinning this way, as well as in addition to other axes. So I suggest start facing that direction, end facing behind you, okay? Alright, so shifting weight from one end to the other. Make sure you dip nice and low. You almost are never dipping as low as you think you are. You may feel like you're going that low and all you're doing is this. I see that a lot. Or they dip low at the first, but when they actually do the move, they cut it short and then just do this kind of butter aerial kind of thing, which doesn't really work. Alright? The reason you're doing this dip is to generate power, to generate lift. So if you're not using it, well, you're not really doing a butterfly kick. Think of it like you have a ball on the end of a string and you're swinging it like a pendulum, and you want to swing it and let go at the top and let it fly into the air, right? So the dip is that swing down here. And when you end facing behind you, that's when you lift and goes up into the air. Your momentum goes up into the air. So when you actually do this, as you dip across, you're going to lift this back leg. What you want to do and push up to the front. So you get here, right? You're going to push off this front leg and lift the back leg. It's really, really important that you lift that back leg. That back leg is what's getting all your lift. Your height is completely dependent on that back leg. The second leg that kicks is more like an afterthought. It's just there. The first leg is what's getting your height. Alright? If the first leg doesn't kick up high, then the butterfly kick's not going to be very high. It's just how the move works. Alright? Make sure you're also pushing off the ground, all the way up to the tippy toes, so you're using those calf muscles as well, not just quads. Yeah, so when you do that, scissor your legs in a 1-2 motion. Kick them straight up, like this. So you're here, lift, 1, 2. Okay? Kick them straight up. It's tempting to kick them in a circle, because when you actually watch the butterfly kick, it looks like the legs are moving in a circle, but that's actually caused by the dip beforehand. You're actually generating a bit of rotation doing the dip that causes your legs to travel in a circle. Because your body's traveling across the horizontal and also turning a bit, so that's what causes the illusion of it moving in a circle. What it feels like is just kicking straight up and down. If you try to force the circular motion, you'll feel resistance and it'll make the kick not look as good. So don't do that. Just kick straight up. 1, 2. Again, make sure that first leg gets really high. You don't really have to focus on the second leg as much. You just kind of let it go up there. The first leg is the one you have to focus on getting it up. Okay? So when you actually do it, your body position, your upper body should at minimum be on the horizontal, right? With your legs above it. Because if your upper body's below the horizontal, it's going to look like this ugly butter aerial variation. Also, if you try to do a B-twist like that, you're probably going to drill straight into the ground. It's not going to be pleasant. So at minimum on the horizontal. If you can get it above the horizontal. Now doing that requires some back flexibility because you're bending your body in a V shape because you still want your legs to be higher than your head. You don't want your legs to be lower than your head, otherwise you're just doing this kind of deal. It's not going to look good. But try to get your upper body above the horizontal with your legs still higher than that. That's going to require a bit of stretch. This kind of stretch. Bending your body in a V shape, whatever. So get your upper body above the horizontal. As you finish the dip, look up, spot behind you. That'll help. And then, as usual, kick your legs up really high. You're going to feel a stretch there. It's actually not too bad, but it does take a little bit of practice to get it down. So that's about all you need to know for the kick. I'd say the key to a B kick is just a good setup, a good dip, and hitting the right body position. Landing the move isn't really that difficult. I mean, if you think about it, you're not really turning upside down at all, and you're kind of just moving that way. So even if you mess up, what's the worst that could happen? Your feet are right there to catch you, right? So just do that, and then landing is just, stepping down. Don't be in too much of a rush to land, because if you're in a rush to land, that first leg is going to want to come down right away, and that means you won't get it as high, and whatever. Take your time with the move. If you really need to, go ahead and practice on a landing pad or something, but I doubt you'll need it. If you just find like karate mats or martial arts mats or wrestling mats or pad, any kind of padding at all, then just focus on getting the kick high, and then the rest worry about later, okay? All right, so one last thing. I don't know if you noticed, but at the very beginning when I did the butterfly kick, I took 2 steps beforehand and then did it. Those are called momentum steps. It's really simple. I'm going to break them down for you. All momentum steps are to generate a little bit of momentum, extra momentum beforehand, that you then carry through into the dip and into the kick. All right, so this is the momentum steps. You just step in a circle, 2 steps. 1, 2. I'll show you again from the other side. 1, 2. You're just facing the same way you started again afterwards. It's not a big deal. You just step 1, 2, half turn each time, and face where you started. What you're doing here, though, when you actually do it, the second step is longer, because what you're trying to do is, generate momentum and then swing it up into the air, adding it to everything else you're doing. Okay? So when you actually do it, it looks more like this. 1, then 2. Notice the second foot reaching out really far. You really want to reach with that second foot. Reach out as long as you can. Extend your body. The same reason gymnastics, you extend your back handsprings. This one you want to extend your body out over distance. This gives you a lot more momentum to throw into the air when you do the dip. Make sure you don't do the momentum steps, stop, dip, and then go. Because then you just lost all that momentum you made. You want to use these really to help throw you into the air. That's why I recommend, I think, learning the B kick from standing and then adding the momentum steps and kind of integrating them together. Although really you can do whatever you feel comfortable with, but that's my recommendation. So yeah, really reach with that second step and use it to do a really nice, low, and long dip. Get you a lot of momentum going to the air. And I don't know if you noticed, but also the second step kind of turns into a little small mini hook kick. It's the same reason trickers use hook kicks before a lot of combos. It's the same thing. That really just, that swing and extending your body just gives you all this momentum. It's wonderful. Makes it a lot easier to do the move. So use that. Of course, you can also just hook kick straight to butterfly kick. You know, hook kick, dip, go. Just make sure you use the hook kick in the same way you would use the momentum steps. So that's about it. I guess I'll show you a few more butterfly kicks with a few more angles. All right.